Okay, step 1, refill, sanitize the hands. She's washed her hands, so that's fine. Step 2, if there's a nail varnish on, remove the nail varnish. She hasn't reapplied anything, so we know it's okay. Next step, step 3, go in, push the cuticles back. So use the tool on the side to like slide under the cuticle and lift. From the side, I'll do these two, okay? Don't have to be like completely OCD here, just make sure you're getting back anything that's coming up. Use your loop tool. Take anything away that's stuck to the nail plate. Okay. So I'd always ask the question to the client, do they want to take down the length or do they want to keep them as long as they've grown out? I think with Sinead, she should keep them short because she likes to have her nails on a long time. So I'm going to take them down the gap. So I can visualize in my mind where I want to remove them down to. So there's a little spot there and I know that's where I want to take it down. So I'll take it down one side and then I can roughly get an idea of that. When you're doing this, the e-file should be kept at an angle and you're holding it straight across, okay? And I always go underneath the edge like this, more at an angle. You can go flat as well, but don't push in too much, just a little tickle, okay? Same again, I hold it at a slight angle. If you hold it backwards, it will get caught. So more so at this angle or straight. And you just try to keep it as clean as possible. You can do it very lightly, gives you a straighter line. When you press too hard, it will take it too fast. And then again, I clean under the free edge. Okay? When I've done that, I do like to go in with a little brush. Some e-files, there's a brush, the brush is missing, but there was like a little hard brush that's very good to use. So what you could give me my one, the other one's probably up by the sink. And I would just dust down so that way it doesn't get hot, because sometimes it can get hot if this builds up inside the e-file. When I've that finished, the next step is I do the same step on all nails, by the way, is I go in and I start with one side of the hand. So I would obviously start over here and work over to this finger. So I go to this one then, and then this one. So I turn the hand sideways. The finger is like this. I put my other finger here, and I'm not starting up at the top. I'm starting kind of just where the finger is. And I can't see because I don't have my magnifying lamp, so I'm going to go with my eyes. I'm going to move my head to the left, and I'm very lightly tapping. And I mean very lightly tapping. Okay, I like to pick up my e-file as I'm going just to make sure I'm not, pressing down too much. And then I would do the same over here. And the e-file, you can see, is being kept back from the natural nail. Okay, there's no lifting, so really she's very little, so I only need to do that. Then I would do the same on this one, so this way she doesn't have to keep moving her hand back with every nail. All one side is done. And remember, keep back. All you're trying to do is reduce the thickness, and if there is any lifting, very light. So you can see I have 2 fingers pinching the skin back, 1 finger to pivot, and the other hand is just swooping around, and I kind of stop about there. Now if there's obviously gel polish on the nails, you would have to make sure all of that is removed. Okay, but there is none. Next step then would be you would come around, so you'd go 1, 2, 3. Slightly different process when you have a color all over the nail, but it's the same thing. And the next one. If you see that the natural nail is growing straight, which because her nails do, you just be careful, don't file too much away, otherwise you'll have to put a form on, and we don't want to do that. Again, the same thing, you turn it on the side, pull back the skin. Don't worry about getting in there too much. If you can't get there, we can get there with a sanding band. And you can see I'm just very lightly coming down and taking that off. Now, once I have all the cuticle area done, I use the side, so I pull back the skin, And all I'm doing is very carefully, 1, 2. So I've used these two sides of the e-file. The next is 1, 2, 3, 4. Imagine there was a color on top. You'd be removing the color here. Once I've done all of that, then I don't put it over here. I put it a little bit further in, and I just go from right to left. And that just smooths it all, making it nice and clean. Okay? So again, we go on the side. Concentrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't want to start all the way back here because you'll skin them, as in into their nail. You always start kind of a little bit like 2/3 down, okay, and pull. And then when you're finished, you hold it here and you go 1, 2, 3. It takes a lot of focus. You cannot be disturbed with them talking. If they talk, let them talk, but you have to ignore because you have to focus, because if you hurt them, you know what I mean? And Michelle's done this before as a not refill, but she's done e-file, but it's just so you're aware. Okay, and I'm smoothing. Okay, she's like, oh my god, what am I getting into now? And I always look this way, so I always checking down the barrel what's going. Yeah, exactly. So once I've done those two, I'll just turn it off for a minute. I like just clean up the dust. It's not going to be very focused. I'll have to do it again with the camera. So the next thing then is that I can go in and I can get her. I do this usually at the end, but I'll just show you now. So you can turn over the hand. There's a reason why I do it at the end. I find that when I do this at the end, tell me if that's sore, right? Is that you're not removing too much. Sometimes you might remove too much because, you know, for whatever reasons, you know. But you can see with this one, it just really only gets the very tip. It doesn't get deeper, but it's actually safer because you're not going to like poke someone. Like I stabbed one of my clients last week. She's a very good client of mine. I was like, oh, so sorry, but it didn't hurt her. She just was bleeding, and I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that, but I know why it happened. So it happened because the bits that I use are really, really thin, and her hyponychium started to grow further than it normally does, and I couldn't see it. Like I should have been able to see it, but I couldn't, because her nail goes like really far down. So I was trying to get it go clean because I wanted to make it last longer and her not have any peeling, and me doing that, it did it. So always, my lesson I've learned is I'd rather it peel than hurt them, so I'm just going to stay a bit back, you know. So that's it really. So you can see there's still a bit of the nail there, but I wouldn't be able to get that nail into unless I use a smaller one. So just to show you that, well, we're on that this one here. Have you done this part yet already? Okay, so you turn it on about 20,000 RPMs, and just try and come down close so you can see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to isolate the finger. And what you're going to do is you're going to start in the middle, and you're going to pull the skin right back so it doesn't hit off of her own skin, and you're going to file to the left, and then you can turn the file and you can file from the center to the right. Now I do find that that works better, but sometimes you might get lazy, and it's okay in the sense that you don't have to change it. You could just hold the e-file this way and you could file the nail out. There's nothing wrong with that, but it can catch underneath the side, and she would get a fright. Nothing happens, you're not going to hurt her, but it just is more frightening. So it's better to hold the e-file slightly at an angle this way and then come from here and go under. And what that does, and you can get even skinnier ones that allow you to go underneath. So again, you're coming in, you see how I keep my finger here? This stops it from getting around, and just coming in and clearing and pulling that skin back. There's only, so if you want to go closer, turn it down and it won't hurt them. It's when it's going fast that they feel that vibration, and some clients will be a lot more sensitive than others. So now all of her natural nail is removed from underneath that tip, which just means that she's not going to get lifting or peeling, because that's normally what happens, especially when you leave the nail enhancement on for so long. Okay, so I'm now going to show you the next bit. So the next bit is your flame bit. I'm just going to go through this again. So this is the flame bit. And you can do the sanding band as well first, or you can do this. So when you're using the flame bit, I should have it on autofocus, really. I don't know how to do that though. There we go. So you put your bit under and you just very lightly lift. No, actually that's too low, I could tell. About 20. So right under there, very lightly. I could tell Sinead has a really nice oily nail plate, so that means that her nail is going to be not easy to damage, which is very good. For some people, you'd touch the e-file and you'd be like, oh geez, I have to be very careful. You'd feel it. Okay, so again, at an angle, that's just getting rid of all the loose skin, and then we turn the direction. So the direction, then you can see I never go in like this. This is okay, it does work. Lots of people do it, but this is the correct method, and the reason is because it actually pulls the skin out rather than like sometimes twisting it. And then also helps to lift it a bit better. And then you can come back this way because the top is spinning the way you need it. So when you go this way, it's actually focusing on the top. So it actually will push the skin. Can you see that? Yeah. It will push the skin up. Yeah, not that she has a lot, but it will do that. So this will get the bottom, and then this will get the top. So again, this will do the bottom and the sides. And then this, she doesn't have much cuticle, but that will do the top. Okay. And that's the hardest movement, this one, knowing how to go this side, you know, you're like, ooh. Okay. So once that's done, I clear that off. So the cuticle is now lifted, and now my next step is actually to do the sanding band. So you can do cuticles with this bit to remove around the top, but I'm not going to do that just yet because this will always take off more. So I'm going to go in and take my softie. So put that in. And I'm going to turn this on about 3. So, okay. I'm going to come in. Tickle, 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 tickle. And if it's very low, it shouldn't do anything to the skin. And I'm focusing on really the nail plate, not really the enhancement at this stage, okay? So if there's a dip, you can't get in there like that because you'll ruin it. So you could go this way if you wanted to kind of get it down, but I show you what I do instead. So tickle, 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 tickle. I usually find that happens when we're filing at the end. Sometimes we might go a bit too high. So when that's done there, I'll just show you on this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And just back and forth. That's how I prep the nail plate. Okay, so now if I wanted to get into that dip, I would use, there is a different type of bit that you can use. This is not really meant for that, but I can use this because it will help. I'm going to put it on 15, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the thickness. So what I'm trying to do is thin it out, so that way when I go with my sanding band, it will lay flatter to the nail. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's not a, so I can hold it, and that means reducing sometimes the most of the first 2/3 of the nail enhancement. Should just turn it up a little bit. So this bit, even though it is used for other things, depends on, you know, what you need. You can use it for that. I like it because it's not I can see more, you know. So now that I've done that, I don't even need to use an e-file. I could just go in and just take a little bit of the shine away from that new area, and that would be fine. Okay, then when I finished all of that, I would go in and I would shape. Now, I haven't shown you shaping, but I'll show you shaping. You can do it with the sanding band, or you can do it with this. If you do it with this, you hold the finger slightly down. Just have to be very light-handed because you can take too much too fast. Very slowly. It's quicker for me to use a hand file, but you know, that's it. So you're kind of going, it's more so for like if you're doing like a stiletto or something like that, you know, where you need to take an awful lot and they're very long. But it does help. And then when you do that, sometimes you're taking more off the sides. So okay, so now I've done that. I'm now going to go in, I'm going to do my shape. So always at an angle, and then swoop to the left, swoop to the right, swoop to the left, swoop to the right, and then curve in.
Always under when you're doing that.
Always under. You're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, always under. I never go. So it's really important because the nail will naturally curve to her own curvature when it's flat. Like it just does that. It's like if I do this, that will actually refix her shape now that it's grown out. That's her actual natural shape.
Yeah.
And obviously as the nail gets shorter, it changes. It goes more square. And as it gets longer, it goes more pointy. Yeah? So that gives you your perfect shape right away. Then once that's done, I just check it from the front. If I feel it's a little bit uneven, I might take a little bit off more on one side. And that's it. And then we're all done and we're ready. And obviously you can do your cuticle work or your nipping and all of that. I just want to say something though as well that's really important. A lot of times people keep doing cuticle work, and I was really guilty of it for many years because you'd kind of clean the nail and you think there's still dust inside here, as in you think there's cuticle, but it's not cuticle, it's just dry. So when you do this, if you don't see any white after you've kind of wet it, it means that it doesn't need any more e-filing. It's like once you do it and then it dries out again, it looks white, but you don't keep she'll just go into the skin. Yeah. So then when that's finished, your next step would be to nip and then do your nippers are here, your nippers. So again, that stuff is white. That's gonna come when we put the oil on. All I'm doing is taking the very, very top of that she doesn't really have much that needs to be nipped. It's very, very little. So all I'm doing is just taking the very top. That's it. And those nails are all ready to go. This one, I'd say is okay too. Yeah. So really just the other two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get